There comes a moment after a long, difficult season, when you stop asking, "How do I survive?" and begin asking, "Will I ever feel alive again?" Maybe you have carried responsibilities for too long. Maybe you have smiled while quietly struggling inside. Maybe life changed in ways you never expected. Maybe your heart became tired from waiting, hoping, and trying to stay strong. And now you wonder, can joy really return? Today, I want you to hear this truth. Your exhaustion is real, but it is not the end of your story. God is still able to restore what life has drained. The moment when the soul says, "I need rest," there is a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot fix. It is the tiredness that reaches deeper. The tiredness of carrying too much. The tiredness of pretending everything is okay. The tiredness of constantly being the one who encourages others while quietly needing encouragement yourself. Many people understand physical exhaustion. But emotional exhaustion is different. It happens when your heart has been processing more than it was designed to carry alone. It happens when you have spent months or years adapting to difficult circumstances. It happens when you have been strong for so long that you no longer remember what it feels like to simply rest. And throughout this series, we have walked through many forms of this exhaustion. We began by recognizing the silent signs of a tired soul. We learned that sometimes exhaustion is not a lack of faith. Sometimes it is a signal that the heart needs care. Then we explored the danger of always being the strong one. We discovered that even those who encourage others need encouragement. Even those who give support need support. Even those who carry others need moments where they can be carried. We talked about seasons when life does not turn out the way we planned. Those moments when our expectations collide with reality. When the future we imagined changes suddenly. But we learned that unexpected paths do not mean God has lost control. Then we explored the burden of an overwhelmed mind. The endless thoughts. The emotional noise. The inability to truly rest. We discovered that peace is not found by controlling everything. Peace is found by trusting the one who holds everything. Then we walked through emotional pain and the wounds that change us. We learned that pain may influence our story, but it does not have to define who we become. And finally, we entered the difficult season of waiting. The season where God may seem silent. Where prayers feel delayed. Where hope feels difficult. But we discovered, silence does not mean God has forgotten you. The beautiful truth, exhaustion is not your ending after walking through difficult seasons. One of the greatest fears we can have is wondering, will I always feel this way? Will this heaviness ever lift? Will I ever experience joy again? When exhaustion has been present for a long time, it can begin to feel normal. You become accustomed to surviving. You become accustomed to pushing through. You become accustomed to saying, "I'm fine," even when your heart quietly says, "I'm tired." But today, I want to remind you of something important. The season you are in is not the definition of who you are. A difficult chapter is not the entire book. A painful season is not the conclusion of your story. God specializes in restoration. He takes things that appear broken and breathes new life into them. He restores hope. He renews strength. He refreshes weary hearts. Understanding true joy. When many people think about joy, they think about circumstances. They think, I will have joy when my problems are gone. I will have joy when everything works out. I will have joy when life becomes easier. But biblical joy is different. Joy is not the absence of challenges. Joy is the presence of God in the middle of challenges. Joy does not mean we never cry. Joy does not mean we never experience disappointment. Joy means that even in difficult moments, there is a deeper confidence. God is still with me. God is still working. My life still has purpose. This kind of joy cannot be taken away by changing circumstances, because it is rooted in something greater than what happens around us. It is rooted in who God is. The difference between happiness and joy. Happiness often depends on what is happening. Joy depends on who is holding you. Happiness can change with the situation. Joy can remain even in the middle of uncertainty. You can have tears in your eyes and still have peace in your heart. You can be walking through a difficult season and still know that God has not abandoned you. You can acknowledge your pain while still believing that hope exists. This is the kind of restoration God offers. Not a life without storms, but a heart that knows it is never alone during them. How God restores the weary soul. 1. God restores through rest. One of the first things a weary soul needs is permission to rest. Many people feel guilty for being tired. They believe resting means they are weak. But even Jesus took time away from crowds. Even Jesus withdrew to quiet places. Rest is not laziness. Rest is recognition that we are human. You were never created to carry everything by yourself. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is pause. Breathe. Pray. Be still. Allow God to remind you, you are loved because of who you are, not only because of what you accomplish. 2. God restores through surrender. Emotional exhaustion often comes from carrying burdens we were never meant to carry. The weight of everyone's expectations. The pressure to please everyone. The fear of disappointing others. The need to control outcomes. But there comes a moment when the soul must say, Lord, I cannot carry this alone. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is placing what is too heavy for us into the hands of the one who is strong enough to carry it. 3. God restores through renewal. Restoration is a process. Sometimes we want instant change. We want to wake up tomorrow completely healed from every disappointment. But often God restores us gradually. Like a garden after a storm. The damage may not disappear overnight. But with care, patience, and nourishment, new life begins to grow. God works in seasons. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Renewal takes time. And that is okay. Reflection moment. I want you to reflect on this question. What part of yourself have you lost while trying to survive? Maybe you lost your confidence. Maybe you lost your excitement. Maybe you lost your ability to trust. Maybe you lost the simple joy you once carried. Today, God is inviting you to bring that part of yourself back to Him. Because He does not only want to help you survive. He wants to help you live again. A new beginning after a difficult season. Sometimes we believe that after hardship, life can only return to what it was before. But God often creates something new. A stronger faith. A deeper compassion. A greater understanding. A more peaceful heart. The person who walks out of a difficult season is often not the same person who entered it. And that is not always a loss. Sometimes it is transformation. The tears taught you. The waiting strengthened you. The challenges shaped you. The pain revealed what truly matters. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who God is calling you to be. Practical steps toward renewed joy. Step 1. Remember God's faithfulness. When your emotions tell you that nothing has changed, remember how far you have already come. Think about the moments you survived that you thought you would never survive. Think about prayers that were answered. Think about unexpected strength you received. Your past is evidence that God has carried you before. Step 2. Reconnect with simple blessings. Sometimes exhaustion makes us overlook small gifts. A beautiful sunrise. A meaningful conversation. A peaceful moment. A song that touches your heart. A kind word from someone. Joy is often restored through small moments of gratitude. Step 3. Surround yourself with life-giving people. Healing becomes harder when we remain surrounded by constant negativity. Choose relationships that encourage growth. Choose people who remind you of hope. Choose environments where your spirit can breathe. Your surroundings influence your soul. Step 4. Give yourself grace. Some people are harder on themselves than anyone else could ever be. They forgive others but struggle to forgive themselves. They encourage others but criticize themselves. Remember, healing is not a race. Growth is not a competition. You are allowed to become one whole step at a time. If this series has spoken to your heart, I would love for you to become part of the Spring to Health with Yvon community. Subscribe and continue walking with us through messages of faith, healing, wellness, and hope. And I would love to hear from you. What is one area of your life where you are asking God for renewal? Your comment may become a source of encouragement for someone else who is walking a similar journey. Final reflection of Season 2. As we close this journey through When the Soul is Tired, I want you to remember, if your soul is tired, you are not alone. If you have felt overwhelmed, you are not alone. If you have wondered whether God sees you, you are not alone. From the beginning of this series, we have discovered one powerful truth: God meets us in our weary places. He meets us when we are tired. He meets us when we are uncertain. He meets us when we are healing. He meets us when we are waiting. And He meets us when we are ready to begin again. Final closing prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come to the end of this journey, we lift up every weary heart watching today. For those who feel exhausted, bring them rest. For those who feel discouraged, bring them hope. For those who feel forgotten, remind them that they are deeply loved. Lord, restore what has been drained. Renew what has been weakened. Heal what has been wounded. Replace anxiety with peace. Replace fear with faith. Replace exhaustion with renewed strength. Help us remember that our circumstances do not determine our future. You are still working. You are still guiding. You are still restoring. May every person watching this message feel your presence and walk forward with renewed hope. In Jesus' name, Amen. Closing, thank you for walking this journey with me through When the Soul is Tired. If your soul has felt tired, I hope you remember this: God sees you, God loves you, and God is still working in your life. May you continue forward with renewed strength, restored hope, and the confidence that your best chapters are still ahead. My hope is that these messages reminded you of something important: your tired moments do not define you. Your painful seasons do not defeat you. Your waiting seasons do not mean you have been forgotten. God is still writing your story. Until we meet again, please remember to subscribe to the channel. May your heart find peace, your spirit find strength, and your soul find rest in God's unfailing love. This is Spring to Health with Yvon, reminding you that every new day is another opportunity to heal, to hope, and to begin again. May God bless you abundantly. If this series encouraged your heart, I invite you to return anytime and walk through this journey again. There may be a season when you need the reminder that your soul can heal, your hope can return, and God is still with you. Thank you for being part of the Spring to Health with Yvon family.